Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie, this is a pretty easy one, but this is a pretty good fly too, and this is going to be a green Brassie soft hackle. This will imitate more of a pupa rising to the surface, but it's soft hackle and you can swing it in the current like you're fishing a wet fly. I have a size 14, is a 2 extra long, and this is a 2.4 millimeter tungsten bead on there. Just don't want a lot, just enough to help get me down in the water column a little bit. And I'm going to use black thread. We're going to start the thread there right behind that bead, and once you get it secured you can go ahead and break this off. Now I'm using some fine olive or green wire. We're going to tie that in starting at the top. I'm actually going to put that tag right inside that bead. Get a quick couple towards the front and then go ahead and wrap it nice and tight towards the rear. You can hold your wire at a 45-degree angle and get nice tight touching turns. Then you can actually do that pretty fast. Stop just before the bend, and we're going to bring that back up towards our thorax here. Stay about at least 1 to 1.5 bead widths away. About 1 right now. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap this. And I'm going to actually rotate my vise, and I should be able to get it a nice tight wrap there. And when I'm rotating my vise, I'm kind of holding it a little bit towards the back so it just rolls off the previous wrap. And it's also, if you don't have a bobbin cradle, it's also a good idea to count how many wraps you did, because every time you turn it, your thread is going to go up, so you can unwind it the same number that you wound so that you don't have a big ball of thread there. That's probably going to be okay there. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie that down. About 3 wraps, and put about 3 wraps in front. Turn that a little bit just so I could, and then you can helicopter that off. You don't need a lot of thread wraps in everything, in any of the fly tying that you're doing. You don't need a lot of thread wraps. Most of them are 3 or 4 turns, and that is it to hold that down. And now we're going to put our thorax in there, and for that I'm going to use some Krystal dub. This is commercial Krystal dub, not my own mix, but I'm going to use a gray Krystal dub on this one. It's actually, oh, there we go. There we go, I got some out of there. There's a little piece of something thick there. I got that. We're going to go ahead and dub this. And even with the Krystal dub, spread it out so you don't have a big ball right on the one spot. And remember, you could always add more dubbing. So go with the very small amounts. I'm going to actually go back maybe 1 wrap onto the wire, and then just kind of just make a ball right there, because we're going to put the soft hackle on there, so we need a little space for that. And now I got that ball there. I could take one of my dubbing teasers, I use this one here, and just tease it out a little bit to make it a little more buggy looking. And if you wanted even more buggy looking, just put more dubbing, thorax dubbing on there, and then spread that a bit. Now for our hackle, I have a hen. It's called a Spec hackle. Here it is here. Spec brown hackle. But the hackle, you can use a Partridge. You could actually even use a Grizzly if you wanted. But I'm going to take this soft hackle. This is soft hackle. It's 100% web. There's no stiff fibers on there. And I'm going to hold it. I'm going to tie it in with the concave side to the hook. So I'm going to take off the hackle from the top because this is too thick. Using the whole thing would make it your hackle too thick. We just kind of want to make it like a little bit of a cocoon. I'm going to take off this fluff from the bottom of the other side. Kind of like a veil. You want it to be like almost like a veil over the body. And that'll look like the legs and the shuck and everything from the pupa. Now we're going to take this and pull those hackles back. And we're going to tie it in by the tip. Just 3 or 4 wraps is all you need. Now you probably noticed that I didn't give it the crew cut, but when you're tying in by the tip, it's really hard to give it a crew cut, and then a soft hackle on top of it makes it even harder to give it the crew cut. But I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. There we go. Nope, missed it. I'm going to actually just left a little piece on there. I'm going to wrap on top of that. And that should actually hold it better for me. I'm going to take my hackle pliers. I'm going to use my delicate ones. Yeah, I'll get my hackle pliers on there. And the nice thing about these hackle pliers is this rotates, so you won't be twisting the hackle as you are wrapping. We're going to give it a few wraps here right at the top. And you could kind of stroke those fibers to the rear, which they're already going that way, but you give it a couple, pull it back so you're not going over them. There you go, and there's a little bit of a soft one right there. Let's plug that off. Now I don't want to put any bare stem in there, so I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to go ahead and tie that in. 3 in back, 3 in front. Now we could take our poke and snip cuticle trimmer and take that stem off. And there's a couple little of the puffier ones that are more like marabou, but I'm going to leave them in there. Now I'm going to make sure that all of the hackle is going towards the rear. And now, since you see I have a little space there, and I don't like seeing thread, so I'm going to take just another small pinch of the dubbing, just another very small pinch, and I'm going to make a nice, real skinny noodle. Get a little moisture on my fingers there. We're going to maybe give it one, and then I'm going to take my whip finish, put the whip finish on around the camel hump, bring it back. And now when you have dubbing on the thread, you have to be careful. You have the X there, but you don't want to slide that X down because you'll slide all of the dubbing down. So just bring it slowly. It's about 1/8 the way right now. Bring that down to the hook shank. Oops, see, I even had it on the wrong side. And then we'll give it another 3 wraps. Go ahead and pull that tight. Poke and snip once again. Make sure the hackle is kind of evenly distributed there. Soft hackles like to stick together a lot more than the dry fly hackles. Put a little bit of head cement on there. We'll put the head cement right on that front dubbing and on the bead. And that'll just slide right down onto the thread. And here we have a green Brassie soft hackle. We fish this just like a wet fly, or you could even fish it underneath a dry fly, a larger dry fly, because a deer hair caddis or an elk hair caddis, because we have a bead on there, so it has to be a pretty hefty dry fly in order to that this fly won't sink it. But you could swing it in the current, just cast across, let it swing down, just like you would with any soft hackle. And I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors and let them know that I sent you. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be making all of these videos. And if you'd like to purchase any flies that I make, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see the particular fly you're looking for, please just send me a message on Etsy and tell me what you're looking for. Send me a picture or something like that, even if you have to, and we'll figure everything out. And most of all, I thank you very much for watching my videos.